Howdy, cadre. Howdy, howdy. Oh, these are lonely days. Lonely, lonely days. And I was supposed to work for one of my jobs today. And it didn't happen. Just did not happen. The need was not there. So, yeah. More lost opportunities. Yeah. I need some friends. Let's make some friends. I've been working on this world off camera. We're in 20W14. Again, still no intent to use the portals on this one, but the seed is Drudetopia. But here's the number. And I think it'll be pretty clear what I've done and what I haven't. A lot of times when I make worlds, I try to minimize my impact on the world. That's not... I'm careful. I'm careful with my impact on the world. That's... Oh, that's true. Earl, too. So, yeah, Drudetopia. What the heck is the Druid talking about this time? No matter what anybody says, Minecraft is a friend simulator? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so I built a stairway to heaven here. It doesn't reach all the way. I had... Well, the world I was playing the most before I decided to start playing online, I guess, in front of your eyeballs. Shall we test? We're probably in creative. Yep. Yeah, there's a little glimpse of Drudetopia up there. So, yeah, the previous world I played, and I think I've mentioned the seed. I can't remember it right now. No, it was probably a specific seed I got from online. It was a beautiful world that you started near a woodland fortress, which was on a peninsula, and the peninsula has a village on it, like almost adjacent to the fortress. Yeah, bonus chest here. This is where I spawned. Staircase that I built. I dug through the ground here because I just wanted... yeah, I just did the math from spawn. I wanted to get up there. Yeah, and right now this tree is blocking the way. You can't walk up there. Mobs can't get up there because, yeah, there's leaves in the way. Which I might undo at some point, but part of my goal was to get villagers so I can have some friends here to play with. And I think they'll be stuck. Nope. Well, I'm gonna need more friends than that. Nice meeting you, guy. Yeah, let's head up onto what I've built. So that I was starting to try to explain. Oh man, I'm so bad at this. Yeah, it was a lovely peninsula. This seed I was playing maybe for a few years. It was inspired by the villager update or the village update, and I wanted to explore the new things they released, villager trading and professions and stuff like that. So, but the mistake I made was I made my world in Amplified, which worked great for the peninsula I was on, because I was still surrounded by water, and it just made the island or the peninsula, it's almost an island. The fortress kind of divides, is at the base of the peninsula, or whatever you'd call it, the part that joins with the mainland, and kind of separates the village area. Anyways, I should show you that world sometime. I'll probably do a world tour at some point. Maybe some of you find that interesting. It's really where I realized that the Druid exists in Minecraft better than Earl, probably. Anyways, but the problem I had was as soon as I started the game and started playing, the villagers that were naturally there all started falling off cliffs. Because I made the world amplified and the village was on kind of a hill, it made it more extreme, and my villagers just kept dying. They kept walking off of things. So I had a thought that I wanted to make a village that was safer. And let's see, do you go up or down here? Okay, good. Maybe you're headed into the village I made. You wanna live here? I'll make you more friends. Okay, What do you guys think? You walking off cliffs? No, you found a shortcut. Sorry, now I'm already fixated on my friends rather than my audience I don't know how to communicate with. Oh, yeah. There's been some people post some comments like, if you want to be friends, and I can look at their channels. I don't know who these people are, and I don't know how to respond. I mean, I guess I could start another account and just try and communicate and explain things through that, but oh yeah, you moved in. You moved in, buddy. You both moved in. So yeah, I wanted to start a village that might be a little bit safer, and this is by no means complete, but I feel like I've finished my basic layout. Oh, was that sunrise? Yeah, okay, cool. No, sunset? Why'd you go back to bed? Huh, he stood up and laid back down. Yeah, so this is just kind of like a framework. I guess I've done the civil engineering. Yeah, the basic civil engineering. No, I'm sorry. Urban planning. I've finished the majority of the urban planning, but I still have civil engineering and architecture. And obviously the social stuff, like creating beings out of thin air. Yeah, you guys don't have anything to do yet, do you? You guys both want to be farmers? That might be fun, right? Let's see. I didn't really plan. I guess just here? What do you guys think? Oh yeah, you're a farmer. You guys know how to hoe, right? Do I need to hoe? Alright, we got 2 farmers. Yeah, you guys need a little bit of guidance. Probably can't get back there, huh? I know you guys plant seeds. Alright, sorry, now I'm already distracted by... I thought they were going to be more helpful with us. But I guess they don't make farms, they just know how to use them. They're not in agriculture, they're just farm hands or something. Should I mix? Mix food types. Deep in thought. Yeah, I'll put a few carrots and a few potatoes. Ugh. Can't all be wheat, right? I wonder if you can name villagers with name tags? I never named my villagers before. Alright, I guess you guys are waiting for some some growth. Waiting for some growth time. Alright. So to refocus, yeah, my goal was to start a semi-isolated village from scratch. Just to explore kind of how that feels or functions differently from just moving into a village, kind of like I did before. Actually, that's not quite what happened. I kind of started building a house at the edge of a village, and the whole village moved into my house. Well, house is a yeah. I tend to live in the earth usually. Yeah, I mean this is a. I'm embracing the hubris on this one. Like, let's lean into the demigod aspect that, like, I am creating a civilization with raw power, you know, out of whatever materials I desire. And yeah, just how did I get to this? To get you caught up, my initial thought was, well, let's just build a village in the sky, and if it was flat and had a fence around it, then none of them would walk off the edge, and I wouldn't have that problem of dying villagers. And what I did in my other world is I just, after my villagers died, I created some. And I spent a lot of my time trying to protect them. Going around doing terraforming and landscaping and building fences and walkways and trying to get the village just back into a more survivable shape, which I kind of pulled it out of through the amplification of the world. So yeah, my first thought is let's build a city above the clouds, and then I realized that's really not fun. The clouds are interesting. They add an interesting feature to the game, and most players spend their time below them. But from my last world, I learned that with the Amplified, I spent some time among the clouds, especially in other regions that were farther away. And so yeah, this was that's kind of what led to this. A city. I didn't want it just floating in the void as much. I wanted to have the Earth feel visible and nearby, you know, but just beneath us, basically. And I think it makes for an interesting visual effect that, you know, imagine you were the last man on Earth, or last being of your species. Human, the last human on Earth, and yeah, you're walking around this fairly natural world that's just got a few isolated villages, and yeah, you run across this thing, and at first it looks like it's built in to the mountain, kind of, but as you get closer, it starts to look like, well, it's just kind of floating among these mountains, perhaps. And I liked the layout of this little mountainous area. It's got waterfalls and lava falls, and it's got the, you know, caves, and there's a couple different spaces here. They're kind of separated by some of these center pillars, plateaus, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, I find it interesting that, like, and it relates to the word sublime in my mind strongly. There's kind of an irony built in the word sublime. It often was used for just huge natural scenes of beauty. But the kind of built-in dichotomy that I find interesting in the term sublime, or the concept of sublime, is there are two aspects of it. One, it gives you a sense of the divine, and it gives you a perspective of something larger than yourself and your own viewpoint, and it gives you some hint of an idea of something larger than yourself. Whether you think of that as God or not is beside the point, but it encountering something kind of, like, just beyond your experience, beyond your understanding, beyond your familiarity, and beyond your scale. Hey, guy. Yeah, no, I don't think you're breaking down doors up there. Yeah, I see you too. It's fine. I do own this world. Wow, I don't normally think of things that way, but you guys sleeping okay? Having trouble sleeping? Oh, there you go. Okay, good. So, sublime. I was talking about the sublime. So, yeah, the dichotomy. One is, it gives you a sense of the divine. Again, that can mean godly or just beyond your own worldly understanding. And that can cause contradictory feelings at the same time. Because getting a sense of the divine, something much greater than you, when you're not used to it, it can make you feel both small in the face of such grandeur, and also connected to that grandeur. It can make you feel like you're a part of it. And maybe that hits people differently, and in different places for different reasons. Like, I can imagine some people would find a sense of the sublime visiting the Grand Canyon, and other people would get a sense of the sublime going to Times Square. Going to the Great Pyramids might be a third type. At least a third type worth mentioning. I'm not trying to categorize specifically, but anyway, so yeah, I guess that's what I'm exploring here. Divinity, the sense of the sublime. Perhaps the Druid is shifting into a more maybe I'm accepting power here. And it's easy to do because this is a simulated world just running on my computer here in isolation, right? There's nobody here to influence me or question what I'm doing, except for this computer I own that's making decisions about how these villagers and animals are going to interact with the world. And mobs and stuff, obviously. So, yeah, my thought was, what if there was instead of the dangerous amplified mountain that my last village was on, what if we had a safer, just flat glass village, kind of floating in the sky? And originally I thought it would just be a flat sheet of glass, sorry. flat sheet of glass, and this has ended up a lot more visually complicated than I intended, but I'm hoping that as I fill in buildings and stuff, it may gain some more cohesion. Right now I've just made a couple of small houses and then started yeah, I don't want to get into the details yet, so yeah. Yeah, maybe we should do a fly around to give you some views of what I've done now while I talk about it. Oh, I don't need multiple if I'm in creative. And look at that. I have given myself the gift of flight. Let us soar above the clouds like Icarus. There's no father here to tell us we're flying too close to the sun. Besides, I'm not trying to get to the sun. I just want to circle around this little place I've built. Boop. Okay, so the way my thoughts progressed. First, I imagined a sheet of glass floating above the clouds. And then I realized that looking down upon the clouds is not really that interesting. And from my experience with the other world that I've been talking about, I spent a few years in, it was pretty clear that clouds can be annoying to try and walk through. They do strange things with glass, like glass makes clouds kind of invisible. Yeah, and from some angles you can't even see the city because of how it's nestled into this valley, I guess, into these mountains. There's the sun. It's mainly visible from the north. And part of what's cool is the lava that's around. There it is. Has some natural light. So if you see a few spots of light, you know, as you were traveling near this thing, you might think it was from lava or something. But obviously from the north here, there's a pretty good view of the whole thing. And if you kind of want a plan view, we can get up here and look straight down at it. But yeah, you can see how you know, the clouds just kind of float through the natural structures and stuff, but then the glass makes it invisible, which is kind of strange. And since I knew I'd be building with glass, I thought, well, maybe we can build at a height where the clouds are just above our heads, but they still feel close. And it would be cool if they just kind of slid through the roof of our structure. And initially I was not going to do a unified roof. Yeah, and so I made this so there's just the very peak of this roof is above the clouds when they pass through. I thought that would be interesting, and then yeah, so that kind of chose elevational issues for me, and I wanted to be tucked into this. Yeah, because if you're just floating in the sky, you don't have landscape. You don't have horizon. You don't have views of water or greenery or anything. It just, just void living. Void living. I got enough of that. So that kind of led to, well, I guess I got to just keep following this train of thought. So yeah, the where'd I hit? Oh, F. Yeah, so the clouds just kind of slide through, and since they turn invisible behind glass, it's strange because you get these like weird partial cloud shapes that appear to just float through inside the building, which I thought might be interesting. Anyway, so the layout of this valley was it informed the design of the village, and I wanted to lay the base out because I needed to get a fence around it for safety, and I wanted space to grow, but I also didn't want to just build all the village at once. So the sections of colors are, again, the urban planning I've done for the layout of streets and buildings. But the only buildings I've finished are these two glass houses here for my two farmers. You guys working now, or? Oh. You guys got out. I put the composters next to the fence. Alright, I'm sorry. Distracted by repairs. Okay, you guys aren't farmers anymore. Okay, we gotta... Why are you still a farmer? That's the only place they could have gotten out, right? Yeah. Except for, like, out by the stairs and stuff. Okay. Yeah, I would think you guys want the composters near where you're working. Let's just... No, because then you can jump into there. Alright, we'll... Alright, we'll put them by your houses, I guess. You guys want to move back in? Thanks. Sorry for the poor design. Okay. Thanks for coming back, guys. Oh my god. I'm gonna be herding cats this whole series, aren't I? Shout out to Unherdable Cats. Great name. They're friends. They're good friends. Some of my closest friends. Okay. So, yeah. What the design? I built all this in creative. So the layout. What informed the layout? What were the choices I made? Did I miss a line here? I did. Oh no, I did that on purpose. So the roof. I realized that I was going to have problems potentially with mobs falling into my village because I've built so close to these mountains. So that's what led to my decision to make kind of a unified roof over a lot of this village. And I've left some spaces without roof because I think I'm a big supporter of diversity. Big supporter of diversity. Like, the idea of the entire world being put under one ideology or one government scares me. Because I think that power corrupts. And the more power you provide, the more tempting it is for corrupt people. That's the other thing. Power corrupts, misleads. It's not just that power corrupts. Power attracts the corrupted. Wow. Deep. Deep shit. Thank you, Drude, for sharing some deep shit. Power attracts corruption. It's a flip side of the coin to that problem. You give people power, they become more corrupt. And any place where you consolidate power is going to become more and more attractive to people who already are corrupt. So yeah, the basic idea for putting a single roof on the whole thing was so that I could protect the village better from creepers falling down on me. So, and it also, I realized once I figured I'd use different colors of glass and stuff, that it would also be a unifying element, so that this all looks like one structure at the same time, that it's so diverse inside. And yeah, the rainbow colors are on purpose. Yeah. Yeah, I support diversity. And in this black and white world, more of us need to embrace the rainbow. No homo. Just, homo tolerance. We're all homos, right? Whether it's sexual or sapien. So, anyways, or erotic. The roof. So, okay. So, yeah, that led to the roof. And because of this mountain in the center here, but I wanted to tuck into this valley, I ended up with a kind of C-shaped platform as I was building it. And so that led me to, I wanted some nice, simple kind of lanes. And I'm trying to revisit the old idea of roads, that they're for public use, not metal boxes. So I wanted it to have like maybe a small town feel or whatever. It kind of feels like a mall because of how organized it is, or I think it will feel like a mall. Once we finish it out, it'll be interesting because I don't think I've ever heard of an outdoor mall that had a unifying roof, which I think is an interesting idea. When I studied architecture, we certainly talked about different ways to design retail spaces. Obviously, the old standard was the downtown area, where you would have something like this, a bunch of individually designed, built spaces. And, usually those owners would build those. And so you'd get a diversity of designs and stuff. But then when you switch to mall, it's like mass manufactured version. Look at this. I'm trying to make friends, and I'm just running around talking about the grandeur of what I've created. Or the alleged grandeur or what I'm attempting to pretend to create virtually. Are you guys, like, doing farming yet? And, oh, I'm gonna need more beds before more villagers show up, right? That's probably gonna be episode 2. We'll start doing some building. So let's continue talking about how great what I've built is. Man, I don't... Yeah, this whole public thing is hard for me because I do not have... It's so hard to talk about hubris and ego because I have it. I know I have it. I'm just a lot more self-conscious of it than most people. Especially living here in America. Man, we are a cult of individualism. Individual freedom and individual responsibility. We have such poor concepts around community freedoms and community responsibility, and that's why, I mean, that's a big contributor of why we're doing so poorly with this crisis. And, like, people are shooting people for asking them to wear masks and stuff. Okay. Focus on Earl. Or not Earl. Focus on Drudetopia. Not Earl. Set Earl aside. We're not talking about Earl. Okay, Drudetopia. Okay, so, yeah, the layout of this. This floor pattern avoids the hills, kind of, but I was trying to set up a semi-regular grid to fit in here, and I realized I didn't want it to be a true regular grid because I wanted some larger streets and some smaller streets. So I then went on, these glowstones here, I established as a regular grid. To see spacing and sizing. And boy, this creating in Minecraft is a lot of fun because you can create physically simultaneously, at the same time as you create your concepts. So the product and the idea are co-created, which I find fascinating. Anyways, so then I went on to use these kind of center points with these glowstone to, I kind of flew up and look at, if I put a building in the center of each of these squares I've made, then I'd have roads between them. And then I went on to figure out that what I wanted was kind of a main road that went down this valley, and a main road that went down this valley, and probably Main Street, which I decided would be one continuous line out here near the edge. And part of my thought with this is, if I want to expand, I can build out this way more and add probably a couple, maybe even 4 or 5 more full rows of houses, which is going to be a pretty big expansion to this, because I think the only thing in the way will be a few trees here as I expand out, and then this corner will hit this hill. But anyway, so the 3 main streets, and then like next to these main streets there'll be smaller streets that can serve more as alleys or cut-throughs. And then I went on to start worrying about the roof because of the risk of things falling from these mountains. And in building that, I figured out that, and I'm surprised this ended up happening, but ended up actually putting these support columns kind of on these nodes. And the reason I say that's surprising is because in classical architecture, there's kind of a couple ways you can go with a semi-regular design, and humans like patterns, so we want some form to our design. So the simple idea of a colonnade, where you'd have a series of columns that kind of demark the space. If you're going to make that on a front of a building, there's a pretty major choice you need to make, which is, do I have an even number of columns or an odd number of columns? The instinct might be to go towards even, because again, we like patterns, and that seems like a better or a more stable pattern to us, the even numbers. But yeah, and that was the preferred method, because by having an even number, the very center is an opening, and that allows the human, the being, to enter centered, and we love symmetry. So the most common way to use a colonnade would be to space them for support and then have entries between them, with the main entrance being centered. Now, modern architecture is a little bit more focused on the structure, perhaps. Anyway, I also decided I just didn't want a truly floating village. I wanted it to kind of just touch down on the Earth just in a few places to minimize the interaction, but still allow a chance for it. And I mean, you saw right here at the beginning of this video that a few things happened that I didn't expect. But all right, I should be wrapping this up because I think I've already been talking for a while. Those are the basic ideas that led towards me building this. And hopefully in the next episode, I can focus a little bit better on actually, come on, making friends. You guys are never going to be my friends, are you? You're a completely different species. Oh, sorry. It's night. No, I'm sorry, guys. You can... Sorry, accident. Go to bed. You can sleep. I didn't mean to... Okay. Oh. Okay, good. They went back to sleep. Sorry, I'll go over here so I don't disturb them so much with all my talking. Yeah, so this is just a start. We've kind of got the main street on this side, and then back here will be more rural, which is why we've pushed kind of the farming lands over to the ends of these. And my thought is the farmers will Oh yeah, I did make 2 more beds. You guys want to sleep? Not you? Not sleepy? Good night. Okay, well now I gotta go back to the middle so I don't disturb them. Okay. Oh, I was talking about these columns. That, yeah, I found it surprising that I ended up putting these columns on these design nodes, because my intent was that they would be the roads. They'd be the center of where you travel. But then I also realized that my main paths I'd want centered under the roof. So over here where the supports are for the roof, these are like the alleys or back roads anyways. So here, this is like a 3-wide road maybe, but there's a column right in the center of it. And that's not so bad. You can walk by. Again, we're not building this for cars or trucks. It's just villagers here, so. Yeah, so we'll try and kick off this village and get some life and activity going in the next episode. I think I've covered the bulk of the basic ideas that I wanted to. Haven't really talked about this here, but my thought was that this may be more of like a public use building, and so this kind of rainbow layout that I've done while I was planning buildings. I've brought into the floor here, and my buildings I decided to all make them just one cube higher, 1 block higher than the floor of the, that plinth kind of separates it from the floor of the village, and I like the idea that it's just one more step from that. Each individual house is just slightly closer to the divine, if you believe that the divine is only up, or primarily up. Anyways, so yeah, I'll talk more about the kind of public use building. It's probably clear enough. And then we've got kind of like an entry hall area that we could design stuff for that links to the stairway up here. And yeah, I think the only other key thing I wanted to point out was that I decided to put these these support beams. What did I make these out of? Is this quartz? Nope, concrete. White concrete. Oh, I just threw that. What? I don't want a litter? Didn't I just throw that? Oh my god. I'm so sorry, audience. I can get so delayed by just losing one sprite. Where the heck? Oh, there it is. Phew. Okay. And now I'm gonna destroy it anyway. This seems more divine to me than just letting it sit out there to despawn. Oh. Anyway, yeah, setting aside my own peculiarities. Yeah, so these white concrete support rods, I guess, they're not columns because they don't go up and down. Yeah, so once I had the platform, I decided I wanted to tie it into the landscape just a little bit. And I thought, well, we're nestled in here, and I did that for aesthetic reasons, nestling it into this valley. But it could be done for technical reasons, for logistical necessity reasons. So what I've done is, based on this grid line that I made, actually I spaced these at half the grid line. I put 2 support rods going west-east that are kind of mounted into the mountains, 2 on this side and 2 on this side. So those rods, if they were strong enough to support all this weight, concrete wouldn't be, even with rebar in it. It really wouldn't be. strong enough for the forces involved here. You've got a concrete's really good for compression, but it's bad for tension. And having a long rod like this is going to put tension in the center. It's just going to snap in the center with all that shear force. Kind of it's not shear. That's the wrong term. Wow, it's been a long time since I've thought about my architecture terminology. Yeah, so the two west-east rods have both ends mounted into the rock of the mountains. And then that way I was able to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 north-south rods that are on the south end drilled, pierced into the stone. But then on this end, they just cantilever a little bit, and I kind of like how they're just floating, but that allows the weight coming down here to be transferred back to these east-west bars. So, in theory, if these were strong enough materials, and since I'm a demigod, this is a divinely reinforced concrete. Just holy bars down the center. Yeah, this theoretically could work. And of course, Minecraft doesn't work like Earl. The forces in Minecraft are a lot different. Things rest on the grid of the world, but this is a simulation of our world. Abstraction. And part of what I find interesting is how abstractions change things. So, another thing I'm exploring. Anyways, some end rods. I got holes in my roof supports. I thought at some point I could turn these into tubes that maybe I could live in. Keep them cut off from the muggles, villagers. But anyways, there's a lot more decisions that I made making this. We'll get this other farm going and get some more houses built, more beds down, so that we can get some more villagers in here. Maybe we can start turning this into a hoppin' utopia. You guys should meet the other two. Oh, that sends you home. I thought that brought you to the bell. Shows you how out of touch I am with the villagers. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure there's more things I can share as we go through the series, as I remember them. But that's the broad strokes in the intro. I think I had some texts during this too, so I feel like I really need to get to that. Yeah, and I might also build myself a little place to live up here. But unless I'm pretending to be mortal, I don't know as it matters yet. So, I could withdraw a little bit further and build it up here. Yeah, I really like how as the clouds shift by, you can just see the main design lines that I used. Like the building just kind of turns into 3 intersecting bars. Alright, a little bit of barology. Shout out to Fail Whale. Yeah, and actually one of my first instincts was, oh, here's a hole I can move into. Great! Ooh, I didn't know there was a view out from here. I can Spy on my village. Insert catchphrase here.